Military drills. China have brought to an end a 2 days military drill they did off the coast of Taiwan, particularly along the Strait of Taiwan, to send a clear signal to America and to the government in Taipei that if the Donald Trump administration and the government in Taipei decides to go down the path of seeking unilateral independence and not standing, in accordance to the one China policy, which they had, by the way, since 1979. Remember that after the Kuomintang left power in Peking, they were defeated by Mao Zedong. They fled, and Chen Sai or whatever his name is, decided to move with his people to the island of Taipei and form a government. And the Americans gave them a support. The Europeans supported them. So, in fact, the government in Taipei was even seeking recognition from the United Nations organization, to a point where they brought the government in Taipei, as a member of the UN Security Council, as a permanent member. So basically, the two governments, the one in Taipei and the one in Beijing, agreed on one thing, which is that there's one China. And at that point, the government in Taipei was claiming that it was the legitimate authority of China. So fast forward to 1971, after China was readmitted, or negotiations started for China to be readmitted as the meaning the government in Peking or in Beijing today as the legitimate authority of the Chinese people. They did that, I think, around 71, between 71 and 79, and the government in Taipei became a renegade government. And the fact that America stood by that policy for the last 50 years or thereabout, and have decided overnight to say, oh, we are going to support the government in Taipei and allow them to seek the path of independence, the Chinese are not going to allow that. And if America thinks for a second that China is going to stand by and watch what happened to Russia and Ukraine happen to them, they should think again. Look, it's a very difficult task to try to invade Taiwan, because it's an island, it's surrounded. Those guys have fortified themselves. Even if you want to do like an amphibious landing, it's going to be extremely difficult. But China did this massive military drill. They surrounded the whole island of Taiwan with aircraft carriers, with gunboats. They did this massive military drill with their air force as well. And America has warned that if China decides to go in, that there's a price to pay. And China is also warning that if America decides to help Taiwan to seek independence unilaterally, that there's a price to pay. And this is an immovable force against, against a powerful force like the government in Beijing. The Chinese are not the Russians. China can fight, and if America is seeking power, domination, and control in the South Pacific and building all these, artificial military bases in places like the Philippines, working with the government around that area to try to undermine China, they need to think again. China